All right. So, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Greg Holland with Coldwell Banker. Been a realtor with Coldwell Banker now for a little over 30 years. Been a realtor for over 40 years.
Wow.
Started when I was 23 years old, and it's been a good it's been a good career. I still enjoy it, and like the people I deal with more than ever. Um, the relationships, it seems like, are a lot more important to me today than they were when I was younger. And
What when you say the relationships, you're talking about with just the clients or
yeah,
people, just people in
with
general?
the with the clients, but generally people overall. Um, when I was younger, it was all about just trying to you know get going, get ahead, and today I just find myself really enjoying the people that I meet,
Yeah.
and some of my past clients, and some of them I've got to be good friends with, and yeah, it's been good.
And,
It's been
and
a
we'll
good
get into
career.
this. We'll get into this a little bit more. I know there's some challenge. Every transaction is challenging. Can be, right? Not that they all are.
Yeah.
But we'll get into a little bit more in another part of our interview, though, where we talk about those relationships and the people and the expectations and so forth. But when you see other people and talking about relationships, wouldn't you say this is a relationship business?
Oh, it's all about the relationship.
Yeah.
You hear about the technology, all the new technology that's coming out, and um, with AI and all that. Um, how they're going to replace the
Right.
agent. How Zillow thought they were going to replace us as
Yeah.
agents. Well, nothing's going to replace that one-on-one
The personal touch.
relationship,
Yeah.
in my opinion. You look back, and technology has allowed us to do more business, which was good and bad. And I think the technology, if you really just look at the technology, it can take you away from the relationship.
Yeah.
You're dealing with texts, and you're on the computer, and there's bots now that answer the phones and talk
Right.
to people and carry on a conversation. I even use some of that in my marketing, and it's amazing that people don't realize that it's a bot that they were exchanging a
Yeah.
text with. It's
Do you
pretty
consider yourself
crazy.
a techie person?
Not really. No, not really. I
Do you
know.
feel like you're catching up though?
Yeah, yeah. I know. My youngest son's 26, and he gets frustrated if we're, mom or I are on the phone trying to do something. He just wants to grab the phone and take care of it,
Yeah.
because we're so slow at it. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I think a lot of people find themselves in real estate, and I'm sure there's other careers as well, but find themselves constantly trying to catch up on the technology side.
right.
And I think real estate, I remember when I first started 20 something years ago, the MLS had just come out on the internet, like the MLS platform, and
Right.
they were moving from the book to that. And the internet was really evolving at that time as far as how real estate, and then Zillow came along and Realtor.com
Yeah.
and all that. So yeah, I think we're all
Well, there's a,
constantly catching up.
there's a lot. I'm really on a date myself, but when I started, they had a modem. You dialed up the number to the board, and you put the phone in this little modem thing, and that's how you were able to communicate with
Oh
the board of
wow.
realtors and with the multiple listing. Besides having the book that came out every 2 weeks that you
Right.
carried around with you, it was pretty crazy. So yeah, that
I
gives
have a
people an
question for you.
idea how long I've been doing this.
Do you still have a book
Probably in storage
somewhere?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love hearing those stories. I had somebody
yeah,
actually bring in one of the carbon copies where we had to go down to the board and buy our purchase agreements, and they had the carbon copies underneath
right.
them.
That's
They
right.
brought one of those into me the
Yeah,
other day, and I thought, wow, what a piece of history that
yeah,
is. So
yeah.
yeah, what made you of all of the things at 23 that you had available to you, probably what made you get into real estate?
Well, I was in construction, but so obviously, I mean, we did drywall, and I was in houses all the time across from model homes. And true story, one day I was taking our lunch break, and we were doing some houses across the street from the model homes, and it was like 105 degrees, and I was, just sweating and miserable. And I see this car pull up. It was like I'm pretty sure it was a Cadillac Seville. And this young guy gets out with some people, and they walk into that model home. And I sat there and thought to myself, well, that guy's probably a real estate agent, and he looked about like he was about my age. And so that sort of stuck in the back of my head. And then a friend of mine got married, and at the wedding, her dad was the um, sales manager for Century 21, Henry Aguilar.
Oh,
And he said, "Hey, you ever thought about getting into real estate?" And I said, it's been in the back of my mind. And so he gave me a card, and that got me on the path to
wow.
taking the test and getting my license. And so that's how it really
And you never
happened.
look back.
Nope, never looked back.
Never look
Well, I
back.
was still doing a little bit of construction when I first started.
Yeah.
And then my broker said, "You got to make a decision. You're going to sell real estate, or you're going to do construction."
Yeah.
And so I made the decision and just went full steam ahead, and here I am.
So what motivates you every day in real estate? I think we all find, like I mentioned earlier, we all find our challenges with each
Yeah.
transaction. And some days it's just like, gosh, it can be so challenging. What motivates you every day?
My clients motivate me.
Uh,
I'm motivated to do the best job I can do for them.
yeah.
That's what motivates me, is having a happy client, getting a referral. There's nothing more fulfilling to me than somebody giving my name to somebody else
Mm.
and saying I did a good job. I just got a text yesterday morning from some people back in North Carolina, some friends that I sold their house here and they moved to North Carolina, and she sent me a text about 6 o'clock in the morning saying they gave my name to some
That
other
is really cool.
people here that they know, friends of theirs that are going to be selling, because they were just so happy with how I handled everything
Yeah.
for them. So
One thing I will say that I know about you is you're very passionate and you don't do anything halfway. You do it the right way. I know just over the years and just the interactions and in the few transactions that we've had,
yeah,
that is how you do your business. And I think that says a lot for you and how your clients see you as well.
yeah,
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
yeah, I would. I get that comment from my
That's
clients
good.
that,
Yeah.
I've had some friends that are also clients, and sometimes they'll say, "Knock off all that that
Yeah.
professionalism stuff." And,
Yeah. It's
and
us, Greg.
yeah,
You
exactly.
relax. Yeah.
Exactly. But business is business,
Yeah.
so,
Have you lived in any other cities besides
no,
Bakersfield? Bakersfield's your one
yeah,
and only, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Wow. Um, and you are, as far as the type of real estate that you do, residential is your
Yeah.
main thing, right?
Yeah, and some apartments. I have some clients that buy, units. Got some clients that own their own businesses that will buy a commercial piece of property, mainly for their own
Yeah.
use, but mainly residential.
So to get a little personal, you mind?
Sure.
Besides real estate, what are you passionate about? What are
Well,
the
my family, you know,
okay.
um, and my faith.
Yeah.
Those are what is more, the two most important things.
Those are your driving forces.
Yeah.
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 I would say, a lot of people wake up every day just trying to survive. And I think that there's a lot of people that don't take a moment every day just to realize things like you just said.
Yeah.
Their family, their faith, their spiritual aspect, what drives them.
Right.
So what you're telling me and what I see based on your answering that question,
Yeah.
that is a very passionate part of your life.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't always like that, but it is today.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that.
So,
Seeing that you're a passionate person, do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
be an extrovert.
Yeah,
Uh,
interesting. Do
yeah.
you think real estate has brought that out in you, or do
No,
you?
I was pretty much like that my whole life.
Yeah.
I was always pretty outgoing.
Were you one of
And,
those that played sports in high
oh
school
yeah,
and was
played
very
all sports and
competitive and
very competitive.
yeah,
I think that carried over, at 23. I still played softball and stuff, but
Oh, did you really?
organized softball, but
Yeah.
not. I didn't play in college or anything like that. I was a good high school athlete.
Yeah. What's your favorite sport?
Well, my favorite sport that I like to watch is football,
Uh-huh.
but my favorite sport growing up was baseball.
Okay. Any
Yeah,
basketball?
I play a little bit of basketball, but I had to give up basketball my junior year because I bought a car and I had to get a job to pay for it. So I had to give up. My mom said, "You got to give up a sport," and I gave up basketball.
Yeah.
Regret it to this day because I loved basketball too.
Are you a
So,
March Madness person? Did you watch any of
oh
these
yeah,
games this
I
last
do
month?
my bracket, and
Yeah.
I had Florida and Duke in the final, and
Oh, did
Duke
you?
didn't make it, but Florida won it all. So,
I will tell you. So I have family that lives in Florida, and I have family that lives in right outside of Houston. And so when Houston won, they knocked Duke out. That what a game that was too,
oh
by the way.
yeah, yeah, it
And
was a
then
great
knowing that it
game.
was Florida and Houston going in there, I will tell you, I didn't have a dog in the fight, so I didn't really
Right.
have a preference. But in the end, there I was really kind of rooting for Houston just because I like their coach.
Oh
I
yeah,
love him.
yeah,
But the way that that game ended, with Florida winning,
yeah.
gosh, they were down by what, 12,
12.
12 at one point?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
so you watched that game?
yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the first half. I watched the second half. I didn't get home time to watch the first half, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I did catch the second.
NFL, you like
Yeah,
football, and so who's your favorite
yeah.
NFL team?
Well, I don't know if I say people might not call me anymore. Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, we all have our favorite team,
Yeah,
So as far as traveling, are you a mountain or a beach type of person? Which would you
mountain.
prefer? Mountains, huh?
Yep, I've always liked the mountains. When I was younger, I fought forest fires. When I was 18, 19, out of high school in the summer, I was on a hot shot crew, Fulton Hot
Interesting.
Shots, and that was some of the hardest work I ever did. But yeah, we got to go all over the place, and we fought a fire. I had never flown before, and in a matter of 2 or 3 days, I flew on a regular plane from Bakersfield to Fresno, and I threw up. And then from Fresno to Boise, Idaho, we flew on another plane, and then from Boise we flew to Missoula, and we flew on a paratrooper plane,
Yeah.
and because the fire was in up by the Grand Tetons that we were going to, and so then the next day I'm on a helicopter flying us
Wow.
back into the fire, and then of course they'd fly us in on helicopter, and we'd have to walk out, and so you saw some of the most beautiful country, the part that wasn't burnt up,
Yeah.
as you walked out of these fires. But
So you had a just
yeah,
grew an appreciation for the outdoors and
yeah,
especially
I
the
always
mountains.
thought I was going to just live in the mountains, have a dog, and have something to do with the mountains.
So when you and your family would go on vacations, a lot of times you'd go to the mountains or some
We,
lake or
when the
somewhere.
kids were younger, we'd go to Yosemite every year at Christmas
Oh,
break, and we would have Christmas up. We'd rent a cabin at a place called the Redwoods up at Yosemite, and that's where we would spend a few days every Christmas. And we still try to do it. I'll try to rent. There's one house that I found that's big enough that I can rent, where all the kids and their spouses and grandkids, we
and
could all
everybody comes
fit in one
together.
house. And so
Oh,
getting them all together at one time with, having 4 kids, and 3 of them are married, and 3
yeah.
grandkids, it's getting tougher to do that. But we did it about 3 years ago, and they love it. They just love it, and so do we. It's a fun time.
So you mentioned going up there around Christmas time. What is your favorite holiday?
Actually, Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Yeah, I
and the
love
purpose?
Thanksgiving. Just seems like it's just more relaxing.
Yeah,
You don't have that extra pressure of Christmas presents and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, yeah. Speaking of Thanksgiving, the one thing people always think about besides getting together with family is the food.
all right.
So here's a question for you. What is your favorite food? What's the favorite food of Greg
Well,
Holland? I know you like to cook, right?
I like to cook. I do
Yeah,
all the cooking, and the buying of the food and cooking of the food, and I just enjoy it.
yeah.
Ever since my wife and I got married, it's not that she can't cook. It's just I like to do
You
it,
like
and
to cook. Yeah,
and she thinks I'm picky, so it's easier for me just to do it.
yeah,
So, plus I really enjoy it too. And but I like barbecue. I like to smoke meats, and That's probably my favorite food group is barbecue.
Okay.
I'm in search of that perfect brisket,
Oh,
and we went to Austin, Texas, a few years ago, and hit some of the barbecue places. One of the most famous ones, Franklin's,
hmm,
and went there for his brisket. We had to get in line early in the morning. They don't open until 1 o'clock.
yeah.
There's a long line. You meet people from all over the world pretty much when you're standing in that line, and they come out and they'll tell you where you're at in line on what they think they're going to have available for purchase.
Oh,
And
I see.
so where we were in the line, they said, yeah, you guys should be able to get anything you want. And so we got the brisket and got the ribs, and I went there for the brisket, but what was amazing were the ribs.
Really?
Franklin's ribs were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I like to think I make some pretty good ribs. My kids tell me I do.
So one of my greatest Greg Holland and food memories, you probably didn't think I was going to have one of those, did you? When Relay for Life was still occurring out at Cal State Bakersfield,
Oh yeah,
and you had come on as the chair or whatever we were doing for the Relay for Life,
yeah,
and that was your turn to roll. You showed up with a barbecue,
yep.
and you showed up with what?
Tri-tip.
And shrimp.
Yep.
I remember,
Yep.
and somebody
Forgot
said,
about the shrimp. Yeah.
Greg brought shrimp, and I thought he brought shrimp out to the, and I thought, how cool is that? This guy brought his barbecue, brought the tri-tip,
Yeah.
brought the shrimp, and made dinner for everybody. I mean, that was good, and I will tell you, it was very, very good shrimp.
Well, thank
So
you.
yeah,
I
very
enjoy
good.
doing that.
Yeah. What about a bucket list? Do you have things in your life that you want to do before it ends, or?
Not really. I don't really have a bucket list. Yeah, there's not
Any places you
a
want to
lot.
travel to? Anything that comes to mind that you might want to?
Well, I like to travel by car, so I don't like airplanes that much. I like to be able to sort of be in control of that and
Yeah.
get in my car and come home when I'm ready to come home. Went to Hawaii years ago and got claustrophobic being
You're
on
stranded
the
on an
fly,
island.
and yeah, and I didn't have control to leave.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a favorite vacation destination, or maybe a most memorable one that you've been to?
Believe it or not, my wife and I had never been to the Grand Canyon until this last summer, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We went, we drove there and got out of the truck and walked through the parking lot, and then there it was.
There it was.
And
It's a sight, isn't it?
it was
Wow.
just vast. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty, memorable. I mean, we'd never been to Europe or anywhere, but yeah, going up to Yosemite is always. I mean, it's just such great memories,
Yeah.
and we always take a picture as you go through the tunnel with Half Dome in the background, and the whole family picture is just.
Oh, that's neat.
It's just awesome.
What's one thing that people do not know about you that might surprise them?
Well, they probably know now because we've talked about it, that I like to cook.
Yeah.
I like to cook, and I like to find those restaurants when we do go out of town um, that really know what they're doing, that really serve, just awesome food.
Yeah.
And we did run across one of those in this past trip that we went on to the Grand Canyon. We stopped in Las Vegas, and it was awesome. If you ask my wife the best halibut she's ever had, she's going to
At that
tell
restaurant.
you about this place in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Crazy.
cool. What does home mean to you?
A place, relaxation, safe. Not it's not just a place to that you sleep, but it's a safe place. It's a place to relax, and where everybody feels comfortable. We've always tried to make our home that way for our kids. Walk in the door, that it's not some place that they should ever feel that they're not totally comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think when I think of it, I just think of that place to relax and your safe place.
Yeah, your safe place. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people when we and I know have experienced this over time, when you're selling a family home and they've lived there, maybe generations have lived there. What's the one thing they always talk about is the memories and
Uh-huh.
it being that safe place and where
Yeah.
the kids could have come home from school and do
Yeah.
their homework in the breakfast nook
Yeah.
and all of that. It
Yeah. The
is,
memories. Yeah.
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 I think about that word home and what we do and why we do it, you know, and that's the one thing to me is just the word home. It's not a house, it's a home,
Right.
you know. When you're doing your transactions, what makes a transaction successful? At the end of the transaction, you say that was a successful transaction. What makes it that way?
The clients being happy,
Yeah,
clients being happy with how the transaction was handled, and or some of them, some like the first time home buyers. I love working with first time home buyers because of the excitement,
yeah,
and you get to really pour your knowledge and experience into them, probably more so than you do somebody that's owned 4 or 5 homes.
yeah.
They're excited too, but the excitement of a first time home buyer um, is different.
It
There's just
is.
something really neat about it,
Yeah.
and just to see them and the excitement they have that they could actually own a home.
Hmm.
And that should still be the American dream. And a lot of the younger people today, I don't know how important that is to them.
Yeah.
But that's like we just talked about. The home is the place you create memories. It's your safe place, and you can create memories there. And I've got memories from every home I've owned,
Yeah.
and with the kids in different stages of their lives,
Yeah.
and so do they. And that's what we talk about when they all get together. They talk about those memories, and it's just neat that we have been able to, my wife and I, create those memories.
You know, what you just mentioned made me think. This new generation or the younger generation understanding the importance of homeownership. I have heard, and I'm asking you if you tell me if you think this is true, that if their parents owned a home and understood the importance of home ownership and the value of that, likely they would be the ones to do it. If their parents never really were
Right.
the homeowners and didn't have a home that they grew up in, and they bounced around from apartment to apartment, maybe they never understood that. Do you think that that plays a role in it?
I do. Yeah, because I think kids look up to their parents and they emulate their parents, and we're sort of role models.
Yeah.
We're not sort of, we are role models for our kids, especially when they're younger. And I think if it was a good home, and everybody, mom and dad got along, and it wasn't a place where mom and dad were fighting all the
Bad
time.
memories? Yeah.
Yeah, it created bad memories. I think
Yeah.
that's something that that they'd look forward to, especially if they understand building that equity.
Yeah.
And over time, there's not anything that over time that you've been able to gain wealth besides real estate.
In your years of experience in doing real estate, you have a short list of do's and don'ts in real estate, whether it's what a buyer or seller should be doing, or even us as agents?
Good question. Probably more so as an agent, our job, as an agent, the do's and don'ts would be, um, you know, number one would a do would be to communicate.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I just see a lack of communication, and not to get down on the younger agents, but some of them don't communicate as well. Um,
And understand the importance of it.
yeah, as I would think they would, because they're the ones that grew up with the phones in their hands, where people my age didn't. So communication is a big do, and a don't is, you know, don't make up something when you don't know the answer.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
get the answer. Be honest and be upfront. And so I think that's more, along the lines of being an agent.
yeah,
Communication and gaining the knowledge. And when you don't know something, just you tell the truth that you don't know it and find out the answer.
yeah. If you could change one thing about real estate today, what would it be?
Boy, if I could change one thing.
Yeah. You've seen a lot of changes, I'm sure, over the years, you know, even through technology. the behavior of real estate agents, the
Yeah.
association. Think about what NAR. We just went
Yeah.
through this big change.
Yeah. I would say keep the government out of our business.
Yeah,
Um, they cause a lot of the changes, and they're not always for the good, especially with this recent lawsuit. I don't see how that benefits the public in a better way at all.
yeah,
And there's a lot of companies, I think Compass, and I think there's a company up in Washington that are really pushing back against, the whole thing with the clear cooperation. And what it's done is it's confused the public.
yeah.
And a lot of agents are still trying to, get their heads wrapped around
They are. Yeah,
how to do the business. And so, yeah, I mean, there's things that government needs to do, and there's things they need to stay out of. And if I could change that,
that would be one
that would
one
be
thing
one of
for
the things
sure.
I'd change. Let's just go back to doing what's right for the client, period.
Yeah. Most memorable moment in real estate in the years you've been doing this. You have one thing that sticks out that
There's a couple things. One of them I probably can't talk about because it was
we'll put that on another
pretty
clip.
crazy. But um, being awarded the 2017 Salesperson of the Year,
Yeah,
having my family there, being surprised by that, had no idea that was
that was pretty neat.
going to happen. And yeah, that was probably the most memorable because my family was there to enjoy it. My granddaughter was like a year old, I think, at the
Yeah,
time, and my only granddaughter at the time. So
yeah. That was
that was
one of
pretty
the
neat.
one of my one. I think maybe even the moment I realized that you have that emotional side to you.
Yeah,
That really hit you hard. I remember that night. I
yeah.
do. Yeah, that was neat. What advice would you give new agents coming into this business?
Don't make it about them. Make it about your client. Do what's right for the client. My mom told me early on, don't don't get into real estate to make a bunch of money. Get into real estate and do what's right for the client, and you'll make a bunch of money.
Yeah,
And that's true today. You do what's right for the client and not yourself. Don't put yourself first, put them first.
hmm,
And you'll have a career. You'll have a long career
it's true.
because they're going to appreciate that, and they're going to refer you to other people. Um, and communicate. That goes with your client and it goes with the other agents.
Yeah,
Um, that's probably my number one pet peeve is lack of communication among all the parties in a transaction.
yeah.
And that's how things go haywire when you don't have that
And you have that
communication.
breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can over communicate and it's okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've never heard
Yeah.
anybody complain about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So at this point in your career, you're with a well-branded company, Coldwell Banker.
Yeah.
Why Coldwell Banker? Why this brand of all the ones
Well, really, a
available?
long time ago. It was over 30 years ago. I started going to like seminars and stuff outside of Bakersfield. And the agents that I would see at these seminars that stood out to me and were very professional and dressed very nice. They didn't show up to these things in Levi's or shorts and their flip flops. They dressed professionally and they were always Coldwell Banker agents.
Mm,
And that stood out to me because that's the way I've always wanted to do my business, in a very professional way. And we didn't have a Coldwell Banker office at the time, and so I was at Watson Realty when Gary and John bought the Coldwell Banker franchise, and I left Watson about a month after they opened the office, and that was over 30 something years ago now.
yeah, yeah,
But the professionalism is, that the brand, I think, has established throughout the country.
it has.
Um,
Yeah, they
so
really and they across the globe,
yeah,
they do that very well
right.
as far as their professionalism and what they put out there. Yeah. What are three things that you feel that Coldwell Banker Preferred Realtors in Bakersfield offers their agents?
Well, without a doubt, the management, yourself, um, and the knowledge that the management has. You know, they've been in the trenches. You know, I know if I have a question. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, but you know, I tell people all the time, just because I've been doing it a long time doesn't mean I know
Yeah.
everything. And you're always learning something. I think sometimes I've become more of an expert on people than I have on actual real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
But being able to walk into Sherry's office or your office or text you guys at 9 o'clock at night
And we get that a
and
lot. Yeah.
get a response, that's important.
Yeah.
You know, that's important, and so that we can do our job and get back to our clients. So, you know, just the management and the support. And I think Sherry's tried to create a family type atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's why I'm still here all these
Yeah.
years.
We appreciate you being here. Yeah, you've been very good to us, and you're a good asset to our company for sure. I think that we've already answered this question, but how do you feel Coldwell Banker brand ranks amongst other brands? There are many other brands out there. Do you still feel? I think the question is just, do you feel the way today that you did
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, I think it's even more so today. I
Yeah.
think I think the best agents have been attracted to Coldwell Banker. I know the other Coldwell Banker agents that I talk to in other parts of the country, because when I have a client moving somewhere, I like to be the one that finds that Coldwell Banker agent myself for them.
Yeah.
And so I'll call and talk to, you know, 2 or 3 agents to basically interview them. And they're all, I mean, they make it hard because they all answer my questions and they're all professional and they care. You know,
Yeah.
they care about the client. And yeah, I'd say definitely that if I wasn't at Coldwell Banker today and I knew what I knew, I definitely would go to Coldwell Banker. I
Yeah.
think a lot of agents don't, you know, they always think the grass is greener somewhere else, and they're looking at, you know, the pennies and not the dollars.
Yeah.
And you know, you look at the pennies and you're always concentrating on that or looking at that instead of the big picture. You know, you're going to be one of those agents that jumps around instead of really just, you know, getting your feet down and go to work and realize that you've got a good brand behind you. But in Bakersfield, you also have really good management behind you too.
Let's say that real estate was not a career option. What do you think you would be? What would you be doing today?
If I could do it all over again, I'd be a football coach. I would love to have been a football
Wow, I
coach.
was expecting you to say a chef or be,
No,
some
I
Texan barbecue.
the passion and the emotion. I mean, I enjoyed football in high school,
That
you know,
much. Wow.
more than because of the emotion
Yeah.
and the passion and the team. You know, baseball, yeah, it's a team sport, but it's individual. You know, ground balls hit to me, it's up to me to field that ball.
Yeah.
You know, but when I was playing quarterback, I couldn't go back and pass without those other guys blocking.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if I could throw a good pass or not. I wasn't going to do it if those guys weren't blocking for me.
Yeah.
And just the whole emotion of how that could all come together, how they have to come together as a team.
That's neat. That's a
And you
really
know,
neat way
there's
to
so
look at it.
many coaches out there that would tell you, you know, and our senior year, we were proof of that. We were picked to come in last, but we loved each other. We all hung out, we loved each other, and we won the league. And we were a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's a neat story.
that same thing happens today in college and the pros. You know,
Yeah.
if you've got a team that really comes together and really likes each other, football,
Yeah.
it
stands
you
out
can
for
do
sure.
things that you wouldn't think you'd be able to do.
Yeah.
So I love that emotion of it all.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So, being the foodie that you are, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes,
It does.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Especially when it's Canadian bacon and pineapple.
What about sardines?
I don't like sardines. I don't put them on anything.
I have heard of people that just love sardines so much, like more the merrier on sardines, and I just can't go with that. So
Nope, not a sardine guy.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
iPhone. Have you always
I've
used
always had
iPhone?
an iPhone.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
yeah.
do you use
Except for those flip phones, you know, again,
the Nokias?
way back. But Yeah, I remember buying a whole bunch of those one time because they were going to go out. They were going to, go out of style. So I bought like 3 or 4 of them. I still have them because I could hold it in my hand and flip it up
Oh yeah,
with my thumb,
yeah.
and do everything with one hand when I was driving, which I'm not supposed to do. But
That was when we could
but
do it though. It
anyway,
wasn't against the
yeah,
law,
yeah.
right?
So
Do you use a PC or do you use a MacBook or like a Mac?
I have PC.
So PC, but iPhone over an Android.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Daylight savings time, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know that's quite a controversial thing.
I know.
Everybody
I don't
there's
know. Really, I don't know what the big deal is. I like having that extra time in the evening.
yeah. Smartest
Especially,
thing,
I like to barbecue and stuff, so I
yeah,
like having that extra time.
yeah. Smartest thing that I heard somebody say over this controversy is, it's a 50-50 decision because there are some people that, like you, prefer the extra time in the evening. They work later, they need the daylight.
Hmm.
And there's some people that don't want to have to worry about taking their kids to school in the dark, right?
Right.
So it all just depends on which time of the year that you're talking about.
Well,
That,
I can remember one time I was a senior in high school when they didn't do it,
yeah.
and we went to school in the dark, and we loved it.
Oh, yeah. How neat was
But
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Today, it doesn't really matter. But I like daylight saving
Yeah.
time.
If you could meet anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? You could sit down for an hour and have a meeting with them. Who would that
The
be?
Apostle Paul.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the Apostle Paul. The wisdom and just his life from being the persecution and killing Christians to to where he ended
He
up
ended up, yeah.
being martyred, for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's pretty
without a
neat.
doubt, Apostle Paul.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see him in heaven someday.
Cool. Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll see this interview and you can tell him that you talked about him. Every time you walk into a room, if there was a theme song that were to play, what would that be?
YMCA, YMCA.
I was not
Boy,
expecting that.
that's not gonna go over well, probably.
I was not expecting that. What's something that you cannot leave home without?
Oh, that's easy. I don't leave home without this, and it's a medallion, and on the back of it is Ephesians 6-10,
Wow.
and it's all about putting on the armor of God, because every day we're in a spiritual battle, and
Yeah.
in this business, there's times where things don't always go right, and people get a little bent out of shape. Agents, lenders, escrow, and you can start to forget, hey, this isn't a battle against flesh and blood. It's a spiritual battle. And
Mm-hmm.
it goes everywhere with me. Every time it sits
Wow.
right by my car keys. When I pick up my car keys,
That goes
I
with you.
pick up my medallion.
That is
It
really
was
neat.
given to me probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And Ephesians 6:10 talks about putting on the armor of God, and that we're in a spiritual battle, and more so today than ever, we get to witness, in my opinion, that spiritual battle
Yeah.
between good and evil. And
Wow, that's neat.
the Bible talks about that. And so
Yeah.
I don't leave home without that.
That is neat. Food. Going back to the food thing. Spicy or sweet?
Actually, I'm sweet.
Oh, you like your sweets?
I like the sweets. I'm not a real big spicy person.
Yeah. Have you had a piece of Wendy's Texas sheet cake that she makes here at the
I don't
office?
think so.
Next time she makes it, I'm going to save you a piece.
Yeah, save me a piece.
My
Yeah.
my grandma, when I lived in Missouri, used to make this Texas sheet cake.
Yeah.
And when I moved out here, I hadn't had a piece of it, and she brought it in one day. And I looked at it and said, "Boy, that looks familiar." I said, "What is that?" And she said, "It's Texas sheet cake." And I kid you not, tastes just like my grandma's. It was so good. Favorite era: 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. You have an era that you.
If I could go back and live in an era, I've always, liked that Paul Revere, the Revolutionary period.
Yeah.
That's always just been of interest to me, to think about living in that time. And really, we talk about fighting for freedom. They were fighting for freedom.
Oh, absolutely.
They were giving up
Yeah.
their lives, to have a free country.
Yeah.
We talk about that today, and I don't think we realize the sacrifice.
Yeah.
The '70s were fun. I graduated in '74, and they were fun times.
Yeah.
But really, that living back at that time, or even back living in the '40s and '50s, I think would have been a fun time
Yeah.
too.
Interesting time too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun and
yeah.
interesting. We talked a little bit earlier, and I know you have kind of a way that you see the future with AI. But how do you think? What are your thoughts of that? Do you think that we're heading in a beneficial direction? Do you think it could be detrimental? What are your thoughts about
I think it
AI?
could be both, depending on how it's used. Like anything, any technology, how it's used, and um, it could be used in a corrupt way, and the people that are corrupt will find a way to use it in that way.
Yeah.
Just like people find ways to, in every system, in every government system, and with all the corruptness that is being discovered now, and even right here in real estate, when the banks were doing all the foreclosures and the cash for keys, well, the bad guys figured out how to get cash for keys.
Yeah. They sure
Find a
did.
vacant house and move in it, and eventually an agent's going to knock on the door and offer him money to move out.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, I had a homeless guy asking me one time at these apartments, "Are you the cash for keys guy?" And I just started laughing. I thought, man, how do they find this stuff out?
Yeah.
So, but
That's interesting.
I love AI because it really helps me write my ads,
Yeah. Yeah. It sure does.
and property descriptions, and among other things
Yeah.
that I'm working on. So yeah, I think it's all just depends on how people use it.
Do you have a favorite book or a favorite movie?
Well, the Band of Brothers, the whole Band of Brothers with World War II, I can watch that over and over. And believe it or not, I could watch The Godfather over and
Oh,
over.
really? Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that Godfather, just that whole, the
Time.
whole, yeah, the time that they could actually live that away, that was actually something that happened
Yeah.
in our country. Just that whole mob mentality, that
Yeah.
they talk about.
Mentality is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it pretty much amazes me. Yeah, but what was the other part of that question?
Book or movie or book, either one.
Yeah,
Yeah, whichever one you might have.
yeah,
So
yeah. The, my favorite book would be the Bible,
yeah.
um, and there's a couple of authors I really like that are they're theologians, A.W. Tozer and R.C. Sproul. Um, they are just, I don't know, God just gave them a gift,
Yeah.
to interpret His Word and put it into print. He just really gave them a gift,
Mm.
and I like reading their books.
So you answered this one, I think, already. But if you could travel to any point in time, past or future, you just mentioned that
Yeah, the
Paul Revere
Revolution
time and the
time. Yeah,
Revolution. Yeah.
that would, I think, just been a fascinating time to live in. I just again, it just goes back to that emotion and how you can band together for one cause,
Yeah.
and you're all on the same page, um, and how you can be successful.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm sort of an emotional guy, and
Yeah.
I've always been that way, and I've always given it my all in whatever
Yeah.
whatever I do.
One last question: rain or sunshine?
Well, I love rainy days, especially
Yeah.
living in Bakersfield because we don't get enough of them.
Yeah.
Um, been to Seattle several times, and in the summer and the winter. I don't know that I could live that way every day, but I love the rainy days.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy a rainy day. It's just something about sitting in the office, or
Just watching it
sitting
rain
home
outside.
watching the rain, and
Yeah.
you know just maybe having a fire.
Yeah.
It's just really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can appreciate that for sure. Greg, I got to tell you, I really appreciate you being here. This has been a lot of fun getting
Yeah,
to know
been
you.
fun.
So, yeah, thanks for being willing to do this. If anybody wanted to reach out to you just to say hi, maybe somebody's seeing this and they haven't talked to you in a while, and maybe somebody like to consider hiring you to help sell their home or maybe buy one, how would they get in touch with you?
That'd be great. Best number to reach me is my cell, and it's 661-747-6208.
Okay.
And that would be the number one
They
way
can
to
call or
reach me.
text, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
you could call or text.
Yeah. You'll give them a thumbs up if they text you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Greg, thank you very much. I really appreciate you
Yep. Thanks,
being here.
Brian.
It's been a pleasure.
Enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.